So, this is a setup guide for an Asko. This is the most current model for the UK market. It is the top of the line model, and this can also apply to Australia, China and several other countries along those lines. This is their best model, essentially. Well, one of. The W6098X.S. This one, the S is meaning stainless steel. It can also be W meaning white. So, you've just spent a hell of a lot of money on an Asko, and you're not really too sure on the user manual. So this is a video that can help you. So first, power the machine on. You'll get a home screen, which is Asko with the A logo, inspired by Scandinavia. And then, you'll be prompted. Welcome to Asko. Would you like to set up your new machine? You can press skip, or you can press OK. Now, skipping this process is, well, it's more beneficial to actually go through the process. So I'll go through it for this. So set language to GB English, and there's a lot more languages. So you have a lot more to choose from. But obviously, since I live in the UK, I'm going for GB English. And it says set language to GB English. You have a back arrow, which you can go back to the language screen. And then you have a next button, which when you press it, it'll go through to this. Set water hardness. Now, you will be given a pH strip with your machine, as long as it has all of its documentation and is also brand new. This machine also happens to feature drum lighting, so that's also quite nice. So, you have your water hardness levels, which is soft, normal and hard water. That's what I'm going to select, seeing as I live in a hard water area. Welcome to Asko. Welcome to the Asko laundry experience. For more info about Asko, please basically just please visit our website. Do not forget to remove transport protection before use. Basically, it's telling you, yeah, take your transit bolts out before you run the machine at all, which is something that a few people have not done. Never seen it on an Asko, but I've seen it on a few machines, even a Miele W1. So, these are the detergent compartments. In the drawer, you have, in fact, it would be a lot easier if I just showed this. So in the drawer, you have 3 compartments here. You have main wash, fabric softener, and also pre-wash. And you have 2 flaps here. Now these are for automatic dosing. Now this doesn't mean, oh, I can use any liquid or whatever I want to use. Oh no, it doesn't mean, oh, I can use any detergent I want. This is for liquid detergent only. And the only manufacturer I think that's ever done powder dosing was Miele with the Autodose AWD10. And basically, there's a compartment A, which is for colour detergent, and there's a compartment B for any other detergent you want to add, which can also be colour or whatever you want. For this, it's Kirkland biological liquid for me. So I'll shut these flaps now and I'll shut the drawer. So please fill the compartments, let's come back. Please fill the compartments A with colour, and it can't be changed, just saying. Colour liquid in compartment A cannot be changed. And in compartment B, it's liquid for darks, liquid for whites, sensitive liquid, so that's for anyone who suffers from allergies or has young children or things like that, pets and other things where, you know, they need care and things, or other, which is any other kind of detergent. So for this, I'm actually going to go into options. Now, obviously, if I go back, there's 3 options here. Now, A, it's obvious. B, it's obvious. It's just the automatic dosing, which you can also set the amount for. But there is this, which is dose assist. Now, essentially, what the machine will do is, if you tick this box and you start a cycle and you press start, then the machine will go through a small weighing process and then stop once the counter gets all the way up to 100%. And then it will give you exactly, well, your exact dosages for how much liquid or powder detergent you will need to use for the amount of washing or linen or anything that you basically, the amount of items, the capacity or whatever the volume that you put in. And essentially that's what it does. But you can also have none of these on whatsoever, and you can just go full on, yeah, I can just put it all in myself, which is what I do sometimes. So options, volume for tank A, this is the amount of liquid the machine will dispense on average. Now for me, this is 65 millilitres because it is Ariel professional colour liquid in hard water, normal soiling, plus an extra 20 millilitres for a larger machine. So this is for 9 kilograms, which is what it's based on. Volume for tank B is 50 millilitres, and then I can add an additional 20, so that makes 70, but I can basically do 85, but because I actually want it to, well, the machine's drum volume is 60 litres, which is more like 8 kilograms instead of the 9 kilograms the machine is sold as in this country. So I'm going to do 70 millilitres. Content of tank B, I'm going to select other, because that's what I have. I don't have any of those 3 detergents that have been listed. I'm going to go back. Now you have a dirt level indicator here. So if you press it, it can have 3 dirt levels, which is light, well, it's essentially, it says dirt, but it means soil level, which is the same thing. Light soiling, normal soiling, heavy soiling. Exiting dose mode. Now we go on to this. So we have all the programs, which are all stated in the manual. You have a lot of them. You also have drum cleaning and then settings, which I will go into. So you have child lock. So if you press these 2 buttons here, essentially and if you put this to on, then if you press these 2 buttons here, the machine is child locked and it cannot be tampered with. I'm not too sure on what that is. I think it means the whole machine can't be tampered with in any way whatsoever, like it can't be switched off unless they were to switch off the wall. Set language, which was on the home screen, so that's quite self-explanatory. Set temperature unit, so you have degrees Celsius or degrees Fahrenheit. And you have set auto dose on or off. I'm keeping that on, of course. You have set water hardness, which I've already done. Sound settings, which I will do. You can mute the sound, you can put it on low to high range in 4 settings, which I'll keep on that for now. You have drum illumination settings, which is on or off. I kind of wish I did colours, that'd be quite nice, that'd be fun. Display settings, you have brightness, which is on max as standard, and then logo, you can turn that off. So essentially, when you switch the machine on, it won't go through the Asko and made in Scandinavia, it will just switch straight on like that. So I'm keeping that off because I just want to go straight in. And then you have customized programs, so you can take these on or off in this, I think. I'm not too sure. And then you have reset default, which is what I did before I started this video. I reset the machine entirely to default so I could do this video. So it'll put you back to the start if you do that. And also I'll teach you how to save a program. So say you used universal wash, no, actually let's not do that. Right, say you used heavy, 60 degrees a lot, with, let's say, super rinse and also high water level along with anti-grease. So all the options, pre-wash can't be deactivated for this, and you want to add it to your favourites. So you simply press the button, and basically you then just press the slot that you want it to go in. New favourite saved, and then it'll default you back to the home screen. So when you scroll all the way back to the start, your cycle is saved. So if we go back into options, add to favourite, settings cannot be one's favourite program. Okay, I'm not too familiar with the actual whole saving to favourites thing, so I'll go back into here, into settings. I'm pretty sure that's how you do it. Customise programs. There we go. Now you can delete it. So I will confirm that because I don't want it, obviously. I save my own programs instead of that. And essentially that's all it is. So drum cleaning is something I personally recommend. The machine gets run through before it goes through its first wash, regardless of how long it's been in storage or anything like that. You know, the dealership that you get it from, or wherever you get it from, the store or anywhere, a previous owner could say, oh, I only put it in the garage, or I put it in the store last weekend and it was, I don't know, the Tuesday after that weekend, but you don't know where it could have been. And also you have no idea on how long it was actually stored for, of course, so it will be a good plan to actually run drum clean. So this machine does a default of 90 degrees Celsius, which cannot be changed, the same as 0 RPM spin speed, so it won't do a spin. You have no options for this apart from add to favourite, which, why add drum clean to your favourites? You have delay start, which is 30 minutes. It goes in 30-minute sections up to 6 hours, so you can do up to there, and then it's all in 1 hour's steps all the way up to 24 hours. And then you go, you go and start the program. So a little run through of the options. I'll go into, in fact no, I'll go into universal wash for this. I think it does all the settings. Yes, it does. Super rinse. Use the super rinse option if you want to add 2 rinses. Pre-wash, obviously that's self-explanatory. High water level. By selecting high water level, additional water is used during the main wash and rinse cycles. And then anti-grease. Anti-grease prevents laundry from getting creased by rotating the drum 6 seconds per minute. So for every minute it waits, it will, well, every minute that it's waiting, after a minute, it will turn the drum for 6 seconds and then stop for another minute, and it will then continue the cycle for 2 hours after the cycle is done. And that's the end of that. So you have your spin speed, which can be changed to the full potential of the machine for most programs, apart from a fair few. There are a few, obviously, such as mixed/synthetic, wool and hand wash, along with dark wash, that can't be changed to higher than around 1200 RPM. Then you have Easy Care, which is the same. I think Jeans does also have a default of 1200. Shirts probably has the same thing as well. Sportswear as well. Bed linen, bedding, you actually can go all the way to full RPM. And obviously stain program, yeah, most of these can go to full speed. And then that's the end of that. So essentially, if I go into universal wash. Actually no, let me go into dose modes. If I go into dose modes and I select automatic dosing, and I were to load, say, I don't know, a dog towel in, I'm gonna go ahead and just pull the tripod back a little bit. So say if I were to load in a dog towel, and I were to then shut the door obviously and set the dirt level, which in this case is just normal. I'd then obviously go into a wash cycle, and then I do all of my settings. So I do that along with maybe high water level for this, seeing as how it is a dog towel. And then I'd maybe do temperature. Doesn't necessarily matter, it's whatever the user wants to do, and then I press start. Now this is where things get interesting. Dose assist is running, please wait. So what this then does is it cycles the machine around for a little bit, weighing out and also sensing the weight. Well, it senses the weight and also what you may potentially be washing to an extent. And once this is done, it will tell me the amount of liquid or powder detergent that I might want to use. Now this doesn't apply to pods or powder tablets because they are a set dosage. You can't exactly pop a detergent pod and put half of it in. It's either 1 or 2 or 3 or 4, it's just singular units. So that's for the user to determine, I suppose. So here it is, 35 millilitres of liquid or 100 millilitres of powder, I think that's what it means. And then, because I'm not actually starting a program, I'm going to press cancel, which just cancels the program for me. It will drain and everything else. Program's cancelled, and obviously I can then open the door, retrieve my item, and that's it. So that's the end of what all this is. And to those who have actually gone ahead and paid £2,000 for an Asko, well done. Your bank account will definitely not like that, but to some it probably will seem like pennies, especially to a fair few people who seem to have more money than a lot of brain cells these days. But this is a very good purchase. I truly do believe that a lot of people are going to be very happy if they end up buying one of these. I know there's a lot of criticisms, but I personally like this machine from my experience so far with it. So that's it for the complete setup guide, and I'll just show you what the machine does when you switch it off. This is actually quite interesting. So when I switch the machine off, the display dims out and the drum locks up. But if I turn the drum, that's a motor brake which is locked on, and if I let go, then obviously it frees itself up. But the machine actually does this whole thing automatically. It locks the motor up and then unlocks it. As you can see, the motor locks up and unlocks, and the drum is free to turn. The reason for this is most likely if the machine is switched off during a spin cycle or something, then the machine can automatically engage braking to be able to slow down to unlock the door in case of a potential emergency with the machine or something similar. Although the secondary option is just pause it and then cancel the cycle, which is simple enough. But yeah, that's it. That's the end of that. Oh, there's also another thing. In case you are ever needing to open the door, this is quite interesting. So essentially this is on most modern Askos nowadays. So if you take out the dispenser drawer, this is very similar to what a Miele does to a certain extent, apart from it's a plastic it's a plastic wedge, and you go inside of the pump filter to do this, and you pull a cord. I'm going to have to clean this off since I've used this machine, and this stainless steel key is covered in water. I prefer not to use it on electronic items while it's wet. So essentially this is dry now. So we have this. Now this is a stainless steel key. Now this gets you access to a slot, which is just there. Now, in case of a power cut, if your machine has its door locked and will not unlock, you can do a few things. Now, it's very similar to what a Miele can do. So if the machine has its, well, the Miele, you can't open the door at all without electricity on most of them, unless you have a Miele W1, or, well, that's the end of it really. You don't, well, unless you have an older model, significantly older. So for this, I'll show you the first thing that most people would most probably do. They put the key in here, as stated in the manual. You open this, and then you use this hose here to drain out most of the water into a dish, or where you can drain the water to an acceptable level if the machine's on a wash that uses a high water level, or a rinse. Now, what you will also need this key for is the slot I just talked about. Insert the key facing upwards into the slot, and then pull downwards. This will then unlock the interlock. I think while you hold this down, you can also open the door, but I'm not too sure. I think you just hold it down, you just push it down, it unlocks, and then you're just able to then open the door. I'm not too sure, I've never actually tried it during a cycle properly. I've done it once, but it then produced an error code because the machine was switched on and it couldn't figure out what to do, which is fair enough. I mean, if you unlock a machine's door while it's in operation, then it is obviously not going to have a clue on what you're doing or anything like that. It's just going to do the most logical thing, which is to produce an error code and say, well, there's something wrong here, and I will alert you to this, which is logical. So that is essentially the end of that. That's everything on the setup guide of an Asko W6000 W6000 series for now. This is the most current W6000 series. There are older W6000 series machines that are styled differently to this, significantly differently as well. But this is obviously the most current machine in circulation, so this will apply to the W6098 and W6124, which is a 12 kilogram 1400 RPM version of this. But yeah, that's the end of that. So there you are. If you found this guide helpful, then well, hopefully your Asko hopefully your Asko gives you a hell of a lot of years of good service, because I can definitely tell mine will. Along with all that, I'm surprised that anyone would pay £2 for one of these. I paid 1,000 quid and I still think it's a bit high. But essentially, that's the end of that. So thank you, and I will see you in a different video. Goodbye.